Happy Monday, fam! Hi, 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 hi. Hi, everyone. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I am Pulaa Montz, your inner voice magnified. You know what? If you are new to my YouTube channel, a special shout out to you. I hope you'll find the content on this platform worthy enough for you to subscribe. If you have already done so, and you've been with me for the longest time, hey, thank you, fam. Much appreciated. Thank you for the love. And a special shout out this Monday morning to you, Masiho Ndabana Khaburoni, Mrs. Gabs. Thank you so much for the support. She's always there at the office encouraging people to subscribe to my YouTube channel. So I just wanted to give you a special shout out, Mrs. Gabs. Thank you so much. Guys, this is another episode of On the Couch with Pulaa Montz. Like I said, I bought a couch, guys. So we can get down into the real business of the day. So, if you are new, On the Couch, basically what we do, we go directly into the Holy Bible. We try and get how Christ and his disciples lived their lives peacefully so that we can take those principles and start applying them in our lives as we're trying to develop this lifestyle of peace, right? So today I'm on Acts chapter 1 and the verse is number 4. The heading of this verse says, the Holy Spirit promised. Verse 4, and being assembled together with them, he commanded them not to depart from Jerusalem, but to wait for the promise of the Father, which he said, you have heard from me. So the he that is being talked about here is Jesus Christ. Them is his disciples, right? So he's saying to his disciples, do not depart from Jerusalem. Wait for the promise of the Father that I have told you about. So I just want to end there. At this point, this is when Jesus and his disciples are gathered together and he's giving them his last words before his departure from earth. So this is after the resurrection, and now he has seen all these disciples. He have revealed himself to all the disciples, and now he's brought them all together. He's about to depart. He's about to ascend into heaven, and he's now leaving them with a last message that they need to hold on to as he leaves. He says to them, do not depart from Jerusalem until you have the promise that I have told you about from the Father. And that promise that he was talking about was the Holy Spirit. If you go down on the chapter around verses 8 and 9, you will hear that this promise of the Holy Spirit will actually give them power to be witnesses of him, Christ, around the world, not just in Jerusalem, right? So my message for today is wait until you receive. I am Pulaa Montz, as I've already said. Guys, it is important for me to speak about this because I understand that we are now in an information age. We are now in an age of technology, of everything instant, right? So waiting these days is an issue. People are so impatient. We as human beings are becoming more and more impatient because we are so used to getting instant feedback for everything that we do that it is difficult, or we are finding it more difficult now to be able to wait for the promise. But the first thing that Jesus says to his disciples as he's about to leave earth and never to return in flesh again, guys, this is the first thing that I need you to do. I need you to wait. I need you to remain I need you to sit still in Jerusalem until you find the promise of which I've spoken about ever since I've been with you. You know, I wonder, how able are you to wait? How patient are you? You know, patience is one of the qualities that Jesus had. Patience is one of the virtues of the Father. And we as his disciples, we as the apostles, we need to learn this virtue. Even though there's instant gratification, even though we live in an age of instant feedback, we as the disciples of Christ are instructed to wait, to have the ability to wait. And you know, I love how Joyce Meyer defines patience. She says it's the ability to wait with a good attitude. How are we when we are waiting for a promise that God has given us through his son Jesus Christ? I mean, some of you are waiting to be married. You've been praying for a partner, and over again you seem to be kissing frogs all over town. You are just not getting to your Prince Charming. How are you as you're waiting for that promise? Are you able to wait? Or have you found yourself settling for something that you know is not really what you asked for, is not really what God promised you, but you ended up settling for whatever partner that you have right now because you feel like, you know what, this person that I'm waiting for, this person that me and you, God, spoke about doesn't seem to exist. I mean, I've had people after people coming to me, and it seems like the more I push them away, I feel like one day I won't have people approaching me, and all of a sudden I'll find myself alone. So I'd rather settle for this lady. I'd rather settle for this guy, even though she or he is not the absolute promise, but I'm scared that if I keep pushing these people that I know are not the absolute promise, one day there might never be anybody approaching me again. One day I won't have the chance to have a wife, to have a husband, because I've pushed too many people away. Are you willing to wait for the promise? Sometimes it's a promotion. You want a certain promotion, and because you've waited for so long, somebody in another company offers you something a little bit higher than where you are, but very low from what you were aiming for in the company that you're in an organization that you're serving in. And then you decide, you know what, I've waited for this promotion in my own company and it's not coming through. So I'd rather settle for that middle management position in the other company, because at least they recognize that I've got the potential to manage people. Are you willing to wait for the promise that God has given you? You know, we make so many decisions in a rush because we are in an era, an age of instant feedback. If the feedback is not instant, we are not interested in it. I mean, we live in an age where slow cookers are out of fashion. I mean, I've got a friend of mine called Memes. I mean, Memes always cringes when she sees me using a slow cooker, because she doesn't understand how I still have patience to sit and wait for that meat to slowly marinate, to slowly cook, when I can get the same results from a pressure cooker. I mean, she is an absolute advocate for a pressure cooker, right? I've never used the pressure cooker. Actually, I've never used the pressure cooker. I'm that old-fashioned. I believe in things slowly brewing in the pot, slowly marinating, and the flavor slowly coming together, so that ultimately, after 8 long hours of waiting, I can indulge in something that I know took time for me to prepare. Right? But when we live in an age of pressure cookers, it becomes more difficult for us to be patient, and ultimately we end up settling for things that we were never supposed to settle for. You know, when you have waited for so long, I tell you, it will benefit you to wait a year more. It will benefit you to wait a couple of months more. It will benefit you to wait a day longer than to settle the rest of your life for something that you never intended to have. I tell you, the things that we settle into will cause us not to have peace in future. I mean, you're so quick to get married to this person, and you know in your heart of hearts that this is not it for me, but you just go for that person because you feel like time is running out. Are you going to be able to live with the consequences of your decisions for the rest of your life? You are 30 years old. You're making a commitment to this person that you know is not right for you. What if you get to live until the age of 50? Are you going to be able to live with the consequences of your decision for 50 years that is to come? How willing are you to wait for the promise that God gave you? You know, I just wanted to ask you this question this Monday morning. What are those decisions that you have been making recently that you know are against the promise, and yet you are right now maybe considering the options because you just feel you'll never get that house that you've always prayed for? You just feel you'll never become that person that you've always wanted to become. You know, maybe you're not the most friendliest of people, and you are trying so hard to change because you want to be a welcoming person. You understand that for you to be able to preach the gospel, you have to have an open personality. You have to have the love of people the same way as Christ loved us. You're trying to develop that sense in you, but you're being so impatient with yourself that ultimately you stop trying. You're saying, you know what, this is my personality, this is who I am, I'll never change. Guys, get used to who I am. Are we able to wait for the promises of God? This is the first thing that Jesus says to his disciples. After I have left, please go to Jerusalem. Go wait there. Why is it important for them to wait? It's because it is in your waiting that something is being developed in you. In a waiting season, character is being developed for the promise that you're going to receive. You see, Christ is saying, go wait for this promise, because once it comes, you will have power. And when you have power, we know that ultimately, as human beings, when we have power, we've got also the ability then to tend to abuse the power that we have. Guys, I'm sorry for the lighting. I mean, it's doing the most on this video. I'm really trying hard to ignore it, but hey, apologies for the lighting. It will get better. I got the mic. One day I will get the lighting, okay? So that we don't have these kind of problems anymore. So I'm trying to use natural light, but it's going in all directions. But going back to what we're talking about, when you receive this power, you will be able to influence the world. And as human beings, when we have power to influence the world, when we have power to influence an individual, we also then have the ability to abuse the power. So Christ, in that waiting period, will then come in and help you develop a character that will make sure that when you have the power, you use it as it was intended to be used. When you are in this marriage, you understand and you will have compassion for people who are out there still looking for their perfect partners. And you will be able to minister to them to wait, because you would have known that because I waited for the promise, I finally got that perfect wife that God promised me. And it is you who will be able to minister to those other people who are still waiting. You will be able to tell them, you know what, I was able to wait. And because I waited, I was able to receive the promise. So you wait. You wait for the promises of God. So it becomes more powerful when it comes from somebody who's walked the journey, who's been asked to wait at some season of their lives. It becomes more powerful when you, as an individual who's had to wait before, tell somebody else, just wait on the promises of God. There is power in waiting. Recognize that God is not making you wait for the sake of waiting. He is developing a character in you that will make sure that whatever promise that He has promised you, when you receive it, it becomes sustainable. When you receive it, it becomes a lifetime thing. When you finally get to that altar, it is truly a forever type of journey. When you finally get that degree, it truly opens up the doors that you expected it to open up. When you finally develop that character of being friendly and being lovable, you are truly able now to minister to the hearts that you couldn't touch with your previous attitude. There is power and strength that gets developed in a period of waiting. As you're waiting for that promotion, get to learn fully your department. Get to learn fully the vision of your company. You know, there are certain positions when you are in them, you're worried about your work and just doing whatever it is that you're doing every day and you are done. But when you are now preparing for a senior management level, when you are now preparing to ascend into an executive level, you need to be aware of more than what you are doing. So when God gives you a promise to say, one day I'm going to put you in this position, and then it doesn't happen immediately, He starts saying, open up your mind. Start asking questions from other departments. Get to know the company or organization that you're working for in general, because now as an executive, although you'll be an executive for finance, although you'll be an executive of HR or whatever position you will be in, you will need to know what's going on in the company in general. You will need to be aligned with the vision of this company. So in this waiting period, I'm giving you an opportunity to now learn more than your department, to learn the company in general. There is power and strength in remaining. I mean, for me, when I started this YouTube channel, I remember at some point I only had 20 subscribers. And not even all 20 were watching the videos. I will have 0 views on one of those videos. At times I'll have 2 views. I remember after 6-7 months of doing this, I said to God, but why am I still doing this? I mean, nobody is watching these videos. I mean, it seems like I'm just pouring my heart out for nothing. But you know what God said to me? I'm not interested in your sacrifice. I'm interested in your obedience. So you should not be interested in the results that come after producing this video clip. What you should be interested in and what you should be celebrating is the fact that you were obedient to me. And this is why I keep doing these videos, whether there are likes, whether there are no likes, whether there are views and no views. I keep coming back because I'm remaining, because I realize that the issue with me and God and these video clips is not the result, but it is in me obeying. So God is developing the spirit of obedience in me, and hence how small the channel is, I keep showing up because I'm learning to be obedient in difficult moments. There is strength. There is something great being built in you in those moments when God is asking you to wait. So guys, this Monday morning, as you're entering into the new week, I just wanted to say, don't be too quick to get away. Sometimes it's a difficult relationship. Your marriage is difficult right now. Your relationship is difficult. Your friendships are difficult. Difficult relationships. Don't be too quick to run out of those relationships. Try first to figure out, why is God wanting you to remain in this relationship, difficult as it is? What is it that God is trying to build on the inside of you that will be beneficial for you in the long run? Don't make rash decisions just because you feel like the promise is not coming. Remember what Jesus said. Wait in Jerusalem until you receive the promise that you had from me. But that promise will not come from me. It will come from the Father. And when you receive that promise, it will give you power to be witness of who I am as Jesus Christ around the world. So when we wait, we will be able to really be witness of who Christ is, because we've seen him alive in our lives. So happy Monday, everybody, and a fruitful week ahead. Guys, don't forget to do the right thing. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Peace.